Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the North Node transiting the 6th house in a natal chart. Now, on average, the North Node will traverse a house for approximately a year and a half. However, if your house size is a little bit larger than average, then the North Node will be in there for a little bit of a longer duration. If your house size is a little bit smaller than average, then the North Node will be in there for a little bit of a shorter period. Well, anyway, people, the first thing I'll look at when the North Node transits one's natal 6th house, this could be a time where a person might decide to put more emphasis on work, on employment, on service to others, perhaps even pets. This could be a time where, when you look at this transit, the South Node is transiting the 12th house when the North Node is transiting the 6th. And the South Node, when it transits the 12th house, it could be a time where a person may have emphasized a lot of introversion and introspection, solitude and seclusion. And when the North Node transits the 6th, as a result, it's telling the person, okay, it's time to get out of the seclusion and the introversion and being inside and to go out and emphasize work a little bit more. It doesn't mean that everybody that has this transit is not working necessarily. It just means that they might be putting a little bit more time into that solitude and seclusion and really sometimes getting away from reality a little more than they should. And they might not be putting maybe even the serious energy into their work, into their employment or what have you, as maybe they should. The 6th house is also about health. Now, the 12th house is connected with mental illness. Now, in most cases, if somebody's having this transit, they're not going to, I don't believe they're going to pick up a mental illness in most cases. However, in many cases, or not many, in some cases, perhaps one may be perhaps attending to their mental illness, or they may have recently, not their mental illness, but their mental health, I should say. They may have been staying inside a little bit more. Maybe they felt there were issues concerned with their mental health, and they wanted to get that taken care of and checked out. But what happens is, when you have the North Node transiting the 6th, it's more about the physical health. And really what happens is you really it's about having when you have this transit, when South Node is transiting the 12th and you have the North Node in the 6th, you get a little bit of the mental health and the physical health. And I think what happens is, when you have the transit, if you start emphasizing your work life more, then it's good for your it could be good for your mental health, to getting outside, or maybe even if it's whether it's outside or just out of your house, and you're emphasizing maybe your work a little bit more, and maybe even physical fitness, because the 6th house is your general health. This is where your mental health could actually be improved and enhanced by emphasizing the North Node transiting the 6th house as opposed to the South Node energy. And you could really be healthier in mind, body, and spirit as a result of this. Now, but like I said before, it's generally not going to be about South Node transiting the 12th is generally not going to be about a mental illness. In some cases, maybe in some isolated cases, it could indicate something where maybe somebody may be trying to go maybe for some kind of therapy or something during that time, and when they get that worked out, they're able to emphasize the 6th house energy a little bit more. Now, also, this is a period too. The 12th house, when the South Node transits the 12th as a result of the North Node transiting the 6th, there can be a lot of introspection and self-analysis. Now, what happens is, you're calling during that, on average, 18-month or a year and a half period, is to go and really not necessarily eradicate the 12th house energy completely, but it's really about emphasizing the 6th house a little more and taking a little, maybe incorporating a little bit of that south node and the 12th house energy into the 6th house, such as the 12th house. Since the 12th house corresponds with Pisces, it could be taking that Pisces compassion and idealism and incorporating that into your work life perhaps, or maybe even the 12th house is also connected with the metaphysical and spiritual. So you may want to incorporate, in some cases, if you're already doing something with astrology, the metaphysical or spiritual, you might even be able to accentuate this even more and put this into your work life even stronger than usual. So it's like when in your natal chart, and many of you may have seen my North Node and South Node videos as far as the natal placements go. It's really, you're trying to extricate yourself to some degree from the South Node energy and put it into and really and emphasize the North Node more, but not necessarily eradicate the South Node energy completely. And when you have this transit, the South Node is transiting the 12th, as I stated before, a lot of introspection and self-analysis. And during that time, you can learn about your positive attributes, not just your negative qualities, but your positive ones. And you could emphasize that, knowing your positive attributes and applying that in your work life. And really, when you have this, the 6th house is really, it's about your health, your work, your service, even employees, your daily routine. It might be a time where you may have maybe not been on a routine for some time, given the fact that the South Node would be transiting the 12th house, and it might be a time where you're trying to make that transition and really get on some kind of regimented routine, something that's very systematic and really consistent day to day. So those are some things to look at as far as this transit goes. And anyway, it's also important, people, to remember the aspects that are made to your natal planets and points from this transit, as this could impact the transit. Now, let's say, for example, that the transiting North Node is making a conjunction to your natal sun. Well, this could be about confronting issues with basic wants and putting a lot of emphasis on them. Now, being in the 6th, this could be tied to work and health issues, perhaps. Now, let's say, if another example, let's say that the transiting North Node is making a sextile or trine to your natal moon. This could be auspicious for the women in your life, being in favor of your current karmic mission and purpose. And being in the 6th house, this could be tied in perhaps to some kind of service to others, how you service somebody or something, and perhaps even to employment and perhaps health as well, such as perhaps making yourself more healthy or starting some workout routine, for example. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the North Node transiting the 6th house in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the North Node transiting the 7th house in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.